Well, hello, students. This is your last video for me. You thought that you were done with me, but no, here's one more. One that you're probably going to be more enthused about. Maybe you were enthused about all the others. I hope you were. But this one is going to be about your grades. So I have calculated, analyzed your grades. I put all the scores in SPSS, which is a statistics application, a program. And as you can see on the screen here, I've got SPSS output, which I'm going to explain to you before I pull up the table with your grades on it. Now, don't worry, the grades are indicated. That is, you are indicated or identified by the last four digits of your student ID number. So when I show these, uh, uh, take a good look. I'll leave it up on the screen for a while. I think I'll also just send out an email with the grades just inside the email so that you can find that. But at any rate, let me explain what's going on here. This is a SPSS, and so this is the basic statistics of the course. So there were 31 who were in the course. Finally, there were a few who dropped, and so on and so forth. 31 ended up in staying in the course. Now I've got two columns here. One says points. That's total number of points. Now remember what I told you I'd do is I drop your lowest score of the 8 scores that you took. One of the 8 scores for the exams you took, one per week. I told you I'd drop the lowest. If you missed one, I dropped that one with a 0. If you missed more than one, I dropped one of them. So then I took all of them, totaled them, and divided by and so that way you have 7. So now instead of the total 20 per exam being 160, now the total is 140. So you didn't. So given that now, with the points, the mean was 87. The percentage, that is, if you consider the percentage, that is your total number of points that you got divided by 140, which is the maximum number of points at this point, the mean percentage was 62.6, rounding. The median, that is the absolute center point, was higher, was 64.86. That means that it's a skewed distribution, which means that there's more piled up on one side than the other. And you can see that here. There's more people who did better than worse. And you can see how that and then I've got superimposed over that a normal distribution just to see what it would look like. But basically, a lot of people, the majority of people did fairly well, did well in the course. You can see that right here. There's the data, and then it skews downward to the left. Looking at the data some more here, we see the standard deviation. I'm just going to stay here with the percentages. The standard deviation was about 20 or 20%, 19.98. Let's round it to 0.2. Like I said, it was very negatively skewed, means that the tail goes off into the negative direction. Now let's look down here, because these are what pertain to your grades. These are percentile ranks. So when we grade on the curve, we don't grade by absolute percentages. Instead, we grade by percentile ranks. That is, within a distribution, how many people are in this high level, this high distribution, going from the 80th percent over to 100%, 60 to 80, and so on. So we start here at 0 and go over there all the way. I mean, if we're looking at percentile ranks. So imagine this in 5 sections, this whole distribution in 5 sections. If I were doing that in these percentiles, then I would give everybody above with a 79% or above here an A. So I got 5 sections, 5 ranks here. The 80th percentile and above, the 60th percentile to 80th percentile, the 40th to the 60th, the 20th to the 40th, and then 20 and below. This would indicate then that I would give that everybody with a 79 percentile and above not percentage, now percentile rank, would get would get an A. Anyone between 70 and 78 would get a B. Between 61 and 69, a C. Between 50 and 61 or 60, a D. And anyone below 50, an F. Now, I, I I don't really want to give anybody an F. And so I thought, well, what if I just eliminate this F uh, uh, area, this F area, and just do it by 4? So now I went over here and calculated now the data just using 4. So now I've got, with 4 quartiles, anybody above the 75th percentile would get an A. Then between 50 and 74, a B. Between 50 and 25, a C. Now this would indicate that anybody with a percentage below 53 would get a D and no F. Now I'm reasonably happy with that. So in other words, if you were in the 75th and higher percentile, that would include anyone who got a 77 and up, 77% and up. That would be an A. 65% to 76%, a B. 53 to 63, a C. And then anyone below a 53, a D. And I'm going to say, like, if you look at this, the standard deviation here is still 20. I'm rounding, it's 20. And the mean is 62 right there. So that really works quite well here with that being anyone below a 53. Actually, I'm going to lower that just a couple more points down to 50, and say anybody who got their total score, that is, take all the points, anybody who got a 50% and above will pass. Anybody below 50% will get a D. Given that, and now with these explanations that I've shown you, and so here's the distribution here for that. Basically, it's the same distribution, except now I'm doing quartiles. That is, at the 75th percentile, the 50th percentile, and the 25th percentile. So here's how I calculate the grades. Basically, what that's saying is, so here's absolute percentage over here, here's percentile rank over here. And what this is saying now is that if you have a 77.7% absolute score, that is, take the total number of points you have and divide it by 140, remove your lowest grade, of course, you'll get, and you've got anything, an absolute percentage of 77.7 or higher, get an A. Okay, so look at these. Bottom line, 50% or higher pass. Anything lower than 50, you don't pass. I'll give you a D. I'm not giving any Fs. So now, given that, here's the grades. There's the student ID and the letter grade. I would and would have always loved to give minuses and pluses, but Ventura College doesn't do it. So there's your grades. I haven't put it up or recorded it on with the college yet, but I will do that within the next hour. Please take a good look at this. It is a very liberal grading system. You must realize that. Please don't come back to me and say, I don't want this. No, you got it. That's it. And I wish you all a good life. And in fact, I do hope that I see you in person sometime, some of you, in an in-person class on campus, or just drop by sometime. I'm part-time there myself. But I think next semester I'm teaching this course, Psych 1, twice, this same type of course online as well as an in-person course. I'm also teaching developmental psych. You know, I usually teach statistics and research methods and occasionally physiological psych. So uh, it is a little breather now to teach something different. I've been teaching just stats and research methods for maybe 10 years, but again, just part time. Anyway, uh, have a very good holiday season, students, and I will perhaps see some of you next year. Bye bye.